Well, on to a totally different topic, our nation's Border Patrol. They don't think it needs a search warrant to grab and even copy the information on your gadgets like your cell phone. Even the most innocent travelers going over the border are at risk for intrusive screenings. Joining me now with advice for travelers, John Sileo, privacy expert and CEO of Sileo.com. Welcome back to the show, John. What do you make of this?
Thanks,
and
Jerry.
how did this happen now? So I've been across the border 4 times in the last month. Now, nobody's grabbed my BlackBerry, but it could happen. How did we get to this point?
You know, kind of in the shadows of 9/11, with buildings crashing around, we started the Department of Homeland Security. We passed the Patriot Act, and that gave the government access to more of our information. And now that they've got that information, they want more and more of it because, you know, not only does it stop terrorist attacks, but it gives them a lot of fuel for the fire.
Here's what the Customs and Border Protection spokesman had to say about it. Device searches are, quote, essential to enforcing the law and protecting national security and public safety, always with the shared goals of protecting the American people while respecting civil rights and civil liberties. And what do you say to that?
You know, listen, we did this in the interest of security, right? 11 days after 9/11, we started Homeland Security, and we did it for reasons of security. And we were willing to put privacy on the back burner. The problem is we've now moved on. We didn't put a sunset for that. We didn't say when it was over. And we've kind of moved to the point where we're now at the border between going back from security, maybe back to some of the rights we had beforehand.
Well, it seems to me that some of these searches now don't have anything to do with terrorism. Right? I mean, they're just looking because they want to look.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. The scope has grown so big on, you know, all of this, the NSA surveillance, the border checks that you know, in the case that was talked about with PFC Bradley Manning and the person that he was affiliated with, it had nothing to do with terrorism.
It's not Bradley Manning, it's now Chelsea Manning, as you recall.
Chelsea Manning, yes, pardon me.
Well, that was a big case. So Manning is the guy who leaked information to WikiLeaks, is now facing a 35-year sentence. And his friend was stopped, and his cell phone, as I understand it, was searched. And there was a lawsuit over this, but the courts tend to side with the federal government in this. And so I guess the door is open for any of us to have our personal information searched at the border. What do you tell people who say, look, I really want to protect myself and I don't want to be searched? Is there anything you can do?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of not so nice options. You can stay home. You can not travel internationally. You can leave your gadgets at home. Frankly, there are people who are making the choice to do that. One of the most creative solutions that I've seen is that you have a computer and a phone that are for travel only. They're dedicated to travel, that you keep very little on. You carry those across the border, and if they're searched, fine, because you don't keep that much on them.
And you say they're looking for information about our relationships. How weird is that?
Yeah, well, think of it. If you get a phone call or a text or an email from a suspected terrorist or an actual terrorist, or you've got the recipe for a Boston Marathon-style bomb on your smartphone, you know, they want access to that information. And part of the problem is that's such a logical argument. Of course we want them to find that. We just, the hard part is that scanning every American that goes across the border to find those few cases, that's a needle in a haystack scenario, and it erodes our personal privacy.
John, thanks for coming on and talking to us about this. It's a fascinating situation. I feel like Uncle Sam is over my shoulder all the time. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Jerry.